From the moment our lungs are first filled with life, we are wired to rise and build. At 10, it's tracks and tree houses. At 20, it's work ethic and a resume. At 30, it's our families and the future. Whether born into privilege or poverty, we're all wired to rise and build. Established in the image of God, you were created to create, made to manufacture, formed to fashion a better future. We work hard each day, building our career, education, wealth, relationships. But are we building the right things and for the right reasons? It had only been a few generations since the Great Flood. Yet in Genesis 11, humanity's self-sufficiency and independence from God ran deep. They had forgotten the death and destruction that came from living apart from God. They had forgotten how God had rescued them. They were confident in their own abilities and wanted to display their greatness through an architectural wonder, a testament to their own genius. The decision to build the Great Tower was not necessarily wrong, but their motives were the issue. Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens so that we may make a name for ourselves. Genesis 11:4. God created us to glorify Him, not ourselves. So seeing the danger in their heart's motivation, God chose to intervene, confusing their language and dispersing them throughout the world. Their building was broken. But from those first days until now, God's been on a mission to make all things new. He is in the building business. He's not so concerned about specific architectural styles or floor plans, but about constructing great things with people and in people. In Old Testament times, God said He would live in the temple built by Solomon in Jerusalem. With the arrival of Jesus to rescue people from sin and defeat death, God shared His new plan. He said He would live in people. No longer do we have to go to a place to connect with the God of the universe, because He is already with us and among us. We don't need to build temples to meet Him. Together with other followers of Jesus, we are the temple where God can be found. Sacred space isn't a geographic location, but the work God is creating within His people. And when we, His people, work together, He builds something more amazing than any of us could ever imagine: His church. The church isn't a building, it's a people. A collection of called out ones from every corner of society. Black and white, young and old, rich and poor. Ordinary people whose lives are being transformed by the extraordinary truth of the gospel. Our ideas seem smart until we compare them with God's wisdom. Our agendas seem noble until we match them up to God's grand plan to make all things new. What we build ourselves in our own strength, it might satisfy for a while, but it will not last. Only when we are joined to Jesus can we be satisfied fully and eternally. There are almost 300,000 people within 7 miles of the building where we gather each weekend. They are our neighbors. They are our friends. They are our co-workers. They are our classmates. And they are builders. But many are hurting. Some struggle to hold on to hope. Some have lapsed into spiritual monotony. They were created, like you and I, to be builders for good works made possible by God's grace. But right now, they're broken. And yet, it's into this reality that Christ shouts, "I will build my church." So we rise together to join him in building people. All of our resources, knowledge, passion, and energy completely committed to building by his side. Empowered by Christ himself, building people with deep gospel roots who are experiencing daily gospel growth and producing distinct gospel fruit, all for their good and God's glory. It's time to rise and build together.